Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, residents in Christiansted and the Gallows Bay area will soon be able to rest a little easier after an announcement by the governor Tuesday. Governor Mapp and Port Authority officials told the public that fuel tanks being stored in the area have to be moved by August 1st. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
Fuel transport trucks travel through Gallows Bay daily on their way to the marine port where the fuel tanks are being stored, but all that will come to an end in August.
I am happy to assure you that those tanks will be removed, and over the next 30 days, or effective August 1, there will be no more storage of fuel tanks at Gallows Bay.
Christiansted residents and business owners in the area have expressed concern about how close these tanks sit to the surrounding community.
If they go, we go. I mean, everything is just gonna, so that is definitely a fear of ours.
Now, Port Authority officials say gasoline cylinders or tanks containing petrochemical, liquid propane, or natural gas can no longer be stored at the Gallows Bay Marine Facility. Instead, they should be kept where other tanks are, at the Molasses Pier on the South Shore.
We'd like to seat people outside here, and it's really hard to do that when there's trucks and dust and, and gas. Huge gas tanks sitting out here. So
officials say storing the tanks here became an issue after the Hovensa refinery closed and fuel started to be imported to St. Croix. Senator Kenneth Gittens expressed relief on hearing the decision. He's been vocal about his concern for resident safety and the potential risks posed by the tanks. Shipping companies now have 30 days to figure out how they'll adjust their schedule. The tanks can still arrive at the Gallows Bay dock, they just can't be stored there. Tenants in the area say they're relieved, although one hopes the change won't hurt anyone's livelihood.
At the same time, I worry about people's jobs over there and stuff like that, but it's a mess out here. It's the road's a mess. It looks awful over there. So yeah, if that could go, that would be nice, but I also worry about people's jobs and lives and stuff like that.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, Port Authority officials told News 2 that they've been working for some time to make sure all the pieces fit. They had to get Customs and Border Patrol and IRB on board because of the process to clear the tanks. A Supreme Court ruling last week meant victory for millions of Americans who need help paying for health insurance, but not for U.S. citizens and nationals living in the territories who do not qualify under the Affordable Care Act. Local leaders, however, are trying to see if they can get the Virgin Islands on board. News 2's April Knight has more.
The Mapp administration is trying to take advantage of a Supreme Court ruling issued last week Thursday. It legalized federal health care subsidies for low and middle income individuals in all 50 states. While the Supreme Court decision was a victory for millions of Americans, the Virgin Islands remains ineligible to join a federal insurance exchange nor build its own. Under the DeYoung administration, the Virgin Islands opted instead for increased Medicaid funding for an expansion to be rolled out in phases. Governor Mapp, however, said he's seeing the benefits of health exchanges in the mainland, and he's exploring ways to get the Virgin Islands access.
It is important that we do all that is necessary to get ourselves towards a full embodiment as the law may permit into the Affordable Care Act.
According to a report from the Lieutenant Governor's office, the territory will need subsidies of $50 million to create a health exchange. The savings on the government's premiums alone could reach $32 million, said the governor. Lieutenant Governor Potter said his office is already working on a plan that would get insurance for residents who are not working for the government.
And we have been working diligently with a specific company. I am confident that we will, in the very near future, have that company on board providing individual health insurance packages for the people of the Virgin Islands.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Earlier, Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett also sent out a statement lamenting the fact that the territories cannot participate in exchanges. She said she hopes that in the future the territories will be included in that law. The Seaview nursing home, meanwhile, lost its Medicare certification Tuesday night, and the governor promised that the government would intervene to make sure the mostly elderly residents would be cared for. A government house spokesperson confirmed Wednesday, though, that they weren't able to get the injunction to step in.
We're working to ensure that the 31 persons in Seaview are in fact safe and provided for. We have called for medical assessments of the individuals to determine their mobility or lack of mobility. We are prepared to enter the courts of the territory to seek an injunction or injunctive relief which allows the government to go into Seaview to take control and care of these individuals and to work with CMS for some access to provisional funding in that regard.
Also, some updates on the status of the Esmond family, the family of 4 whose St. John vacation turned into a nightmare back in March after coming in contact with the poisonous chemical methyl bromide. The Virgin Islands government has kept tabs on the family's condition and considering action against Terminix. News2's April Knight has details.
The family that was sickened by methyl bromide poisoning at a St. John resort in March is not recovering too well. Governor Mapp gave updates during his press conference on Tuesday. The mother is currently in therapy, but the father is paralyzed and cannot sit without help. The eldest son is conscious but is paralyzed from the neck down. The youngest child is in and out of coma. The Esmond family was staying at Siranusa Resort on St. John when a pesticide applicator working for Terminix used methyl bromide on the next apartment. High exposure to methyl bromide can cause central nervous system and respiratory failure in humans. The family, which was treated immediately at Schneider Hospital and eventually shipped to Philadelphia for treatment, has not pressed charges against Terminix, but they've retained an attorney just the same. The government of the Virgin Islands, however, will be going after Terminix for damages.
The government of the Virgin Islands will seek full and unfettered recompense for its expenditures dealing with this issue.
According to Mapp, the VI government will also be cooperating fully with the federal investigation into Terminix International, whose actions, he said, were driven purely by profit.
What Terminix International did is not a simple mistake. It's clearly an act to advance its profit motives by using substances that it knew or should have known were banned some 30 years ago.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, the family did show slight improvement. 3 months ago, both teenagers were suffering from seizures and were in critical condition, and the father was conscious but could not move at all. Turn our attention to crime reports. On Tuesday, June 30th, Jamil Foy, 18, of Estate Adrian, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. Foy was arrested after he attempted to become involved in a large fight, according to VIPD, and was asked to leave the area several times. While being escorted from the area, Foy assaulted an officer. Bail for Jamil Foy was set at $1,000. Also on Tuesday at approximately 10 a.m., officers responded to a notification of a stabbing victim being treated at the Roy Lesher Schneider Hospital. The victim stated that he'd been stabbed at the St. John Carnival Village earlier that morning by an unknown person. Also on Tuesday at 1:51 a.m., while in the area of the Battery and Cruise Bay St. John, a man was stabbed 3 times. VIPD say the victim stated he had been attending the carnival events and was leaving the area when a fight occurred and he felt a sharp pain to his abdomen. The victim also received wounds to the leg and arm and was transported to the Myra Keating Clinic, where he was treated and later transported to the Schneider Regional Medical Center. We'll turn our attention overseas. After half a century, the U.S. and Cuba have restored their diplomatic relations and agreed to open embassies in each other's country. The president made that announcement from the Rose Garden this morning. In Havana, the U.S. top diplomat delivered a letter from President Obama to Cuban President Raul Castro, formally sealing the deal. Cuba will officially open its new embassy, U.S. embassy in Washington, D.C. on July 20th. But some in Congress vowed to fight the president's decision, saying it legitimizes a government that has brutally suppressed its own people. Secretary of State John Kerry will open the U.S. embassy in Cuba later this summer. Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. Everything up, as you can see, the Dow 138, NASDAQ 26, S&P 500 14. Coming up on News 2, get your lotto tickets out because we have the winning numbers from today's lottery drawing. Plus, the USVI culinary team was awarded silver overall in the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association's 2015 Taste of the Caribbean competition at the Hyatt Regency in Miami, Florida, June 12th to the 14th. There were a number of hot spots that ignited Monday at the Anguilla landfill. Waste management officials say that the fire department was called to the landfill Monday afternoon and Monday night to work with the landfill's contractor to extinguish the flare-ups. Officials say the hot spots were brought under control by 3:30 Tuesday morning. They say they've been working diligently to meet the closure deadline, and the movement of materials with the addition of the high winds caused the hot spots to flare. The Department of Labor officials say the agency's online system for job seekers and employers will be down for maintenance during the holiday weekend. Labor Commissioner designee Catherine Hendry says the VI Electronic Workforce System, or VIEWS, will be offline beginning Thursday at 7 p.m. and until Monday, July 6th at 8 a.m. The shutdown, they say, is necessary for the department to perform upgrades as required by federal law. Staffers will still be able to assist clients over the phone. The agency's website will not be affected. The Virgin Islands Office of Veterans Affairs is hosting home loan workshops on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. They say any veterans residing on the island of St. John that would like to attend the workshops should contact the office so that transportation can be provided. On July 6th, the workshop will be held on St. Croix at the DC Cannegator Recreation Center starting at 6 p.m. On July 9th, on St. Thomas, the workshop will be held at the Francis Readiness Center in Estate Nazareth at 6 p.m. The purpose of the workshop is to educate the veterans of the territory on the home loan benefits that are available to them, with reps from First Bank, Banco Popular, and the Housing Finance Authority. Senator Marvin Blyden hosted a live video demonstration at the legislature in conjunction with a nonprofit organization out of New Jersey known as AWADA International, whose purpose is to provide educational programs and services that empower students to become global citizens by bridging the cultural gap and providing free teleconference experiences between countries. The demonstration connected senators of the 31st legislature with a cultural center in Ghana, Africa. Senator Blyden expects to begin the program within our public schools at the beginning of the 2015-2016 school year. Principal Farrow of BCB was the first to accept the invitation and have already scheduled their first classroom connection in September between students at BCB and Ghana, Africa. Well, the entertainment continues at St. John Festival Village. Here's a look at the lineup. On Wednesday, Alwi Band and Cool Sessions Brass will be entertaining, and on Thursday it's Imaginations Brass and the Red Hot Burning Flames from Antigua. On Friday, July 3rd, Emancipation Day will be celebrated at the Franklin Powell Senior Park. That's at 10 a.m. in the morning. That evening, head back to the village. It's Jam Band, Small Axe, and Triple K. The July 4th parade will be held at 10 a.m. at the VI National Park. In the evening, music from Cool Sessions Brass from Love City, Kerwin, Dubois, and Crossfire from Barbados in the village. Fireworks starts at 9 p.m. in the harbor. Finally, on July 5th, the Polka Run at noon at the Cruise Bay Beachfront. Big congrats to the USVI culinary team. They were awarded silver overall in the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association's 2015 Taste of the Caribbean competition at the Hyatt Regency in Miami, Florida. That was held from June 12th to the 14th. Team members were also awarded several medals throughout that competition. Frank Robinson took the silver medal in the bartender competition and also won Best Vodka Drink. Tatiana Connor won Best Seafood Dish and took silver in the Beef Seafood competition. Bronze medals went to Anissa Reimer for the Junior Chef competition and Sarah Meehan in the Cheesecake competition. Honorable mention was awarded to Michael Matthew in the Chef of the Year competition, as well as Anthony Peets for the pastry competition. Congratulations to our chefs. 102 enthusiastic entrepreneurs received advice on starting or expanding cruise industry and tourism-related business at a two-day workshop hosted by the West Indian Company Limited. Now, the first session was held on Monday, June 29th on St. Thomas at UVI. The second workshop took place on Tuesday, June 30th Also at UVI, attendees received information on USVI tourism and the cruise industry, creating a destination experience and strategic partnerships, among other topics. Beth Kelly Hott, president of the founder of Aquila Tours and director of Aquila's Center for Cruise Excellence, along with Dr. Sharon A. Simmons, a highly accomplished entrepreneur, lecturer, and facilitator, were the presenters. The event was endorsed by the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. Congratulations to the attendees. Well, this year marks the 167th anniversary of the emancipation from slavery, and if you purchased the July 1st VI Lottery Emancipation ticket, you would have noticed the Freedom Statue. The iron sculptures were erected on all 3 islands to commemorate the slave revolt on St. Croix, Danish West Indies. It was used as the major source of communication between slaves. Now here are your winning numbers.
The VI Lottery presents draw results of today's drawing on NEWS2. Here are the top prizes. 5th prize for $20,000, 09184. 09184. 4th prize for $30,000, 05652. 05652. 3rd prize for $40,000, 26867. 26867. 2nd prize for $65,000, 08939. 08939. And the winning ticket number of the grand prize for $175,000 is 21199. 21199. If your ticket number wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. The next drawing is July 16th. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
Congrats as you check those tickets. Now be sure to stick around. Your News to AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.